What happens when the smartest man in the room is also the most impossible person to live with? This episode turns everyday situations into complete chaos. A single onion ring starts a friendship war, a favorite seat becomes a battlefield, and a simple trip to the hospital somehow becomes one of the funniest moments in the entire series. And somehow, every ridiculous moment actually makes perfect sense once you understand Sheldon. Most sitcoms create comedy with misunderstandings. This show does something different. It creates comedy by taking ordinary rules and pushing them to absolutely absurd extremes. For Sheldon, nothing is random. Every chair has an owner. Every routine has a purpose. Every game has rules that everyone else somehow keeps getting wrong. To everyone around him, it's exhausting. To the audience, it's hilarious. Because every time you think he's finally going to act normal, he somehow becomes even more Sheldon. One of the funniest running jokes is how tiny problems instantly become life-changing disasters. Someone eats one onion ring. Most people would laugh it off. Sheldon, he treats it like a major violation worthy of official punishment. He literally keeps track of strikes against his friends as if friendship were a professional sports league. And somehow, the people around him don't even seem surprised anymore. That's what makes these scenes work so well. The characters know he's impossible, but they've accepted that impossible is just part of the package. Another reason these episodes stay funny years later is the character chemistry. Leonard constantly tries to keep the peace. Penny reacts exactly the way a normal person would. Howard and Raj usually make everything even more chaotic. And then Sheldon walks in and somehow raises the insanity to another level. Whether it's arguing over laundry schedules, explaining why grocery shopping has a correct order, or turning a hospital visit into a lecture, he never changes. And strangely, that's exactly why fans love him. But underneath all the jokes, there's actually something surprisingly relatable. Everyone knows someone who's obsessed with routines. Someone who hates change. Someone who overthinks everything. The difference is, most people hide it. Sheldon says every single thought out loud. That's why even when he's completely unreasonable, you can't stop watching. Because you never know what bizarre piece of logic he's about to use next. This episode proves that great comedy doesn't need huge action scenes or dramatic twists. Sometimes, all you need is one stubborn genius, a group of incredibly patient friends, and a series of everyday situations that spiral completely out of control. That's what makes this show timeless. Every argument feels bigger than it should. Every conversation becomes unforgettable. And somehow, by the end of the episode, you're already ready to watch the next one. If you enjoy smart comedy mixed with unforgettable characters and non-stop awkward moments, this is exactly the kind of episode that reminds everyone why the sitcom became one of television's biggest hits. And here's something that makes this episode even smarter. Most sitcom characters eventually learn a lesson by the end of the episode. Sheldon rarely does. Instead, everyone else slowly learns how to survive living in Sheldon's world. That's what makes these friendships feel so unique. No matter how many ridiculous rules he invents, no matter how many arguments start over something completely insignificant, his friends always find themselves coming back. Because underneath the endless complaints, there's genuine loyalty. Even when Sheldon pushes everyone to their limits, they still show up when he needs them. And every now and then, he reveals a tiny glimpse of appreciation in his own unusual way. Those small moments make all the chaos worth watching. It's also amazing how the writers turn completely ordinary situations into unforgettable comedy. Laundry, dinner, shopping, board games, even waiting at a hospital. Any other show would treat these as simple everyday moments. Here, they're transformed into hilarious battles of logic, routine, and personality. That's why fans can rewatch these episodes years later and still laugh at the same scenes. The jokes aren't built around expensive special effects or shocking plot twists. They're built around characters who know each other so well that every conversation feels completely unpredictable. And that's the real secret behind this show's success. It isn't just about brilliant jokes. It's about watching a group of friends somehow survive one more day with the most complicated roommate imaginable. And somehow, you can't wait to see what ridiculous rule gets broken next.